Nazism and things like that.
People cared in those days as well, but
No,
they were just not capable to do anything about it.
And what are they capable to do today about it?
If, God forbid, such a thing would happen again, what do you think people could do about it? You think people would open their mouths?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Do you think people should open their mouths?
Yes, well, in such situations, such dire situations, yes.
Why do people not open their mouth? They have problems at home. Here you got the NSPCC coming. The government spent millions on a dome, 750 million on a dome, a big dome, which is just for show, and I don't even know nobody understands what it's all about.
That represents the mentality of the government.
No, the mentality of the people.
No.
We are stupid to vote for them. I think if everybody, when it came to the next general elections, people said we're not voting anymore, and goodbye Charlie, we don't care. Maybe that would show that people do not believe in the government at all. We should have an.
So what would we have out of that of not voting? What would be the result?
Do you know? I was listening to on the radio about the voting for the State of Israel 51 years ago, and it said abstain, abstaining, abstaining. Maybe we should have one vote on the electoral register where somebody says, I abstain, I do not want to vote at all. I do not believe, not in the Conservatives, not in the Labour, not in the Liberals. I'm abstaining from vote. I'm coming here.
But you're not coming, you abstain.
No, you're not. I'm not coming, you're saying you're lazy, you're not can't be bothered. No,
yeah,
I want
I
want the person to go to the voting booth, and at the booth say, I'm abstaining because I don't believe in any of you. So it shows the negativeness in the people, how many people there are who are negative against the complete voting. It should show that people are negative, don't believe in it. By abstaining, somebody says, oh, I haven't had time, he's not being well. You can say anything for those people who didn't come. You can say a whole load of reasons for people who didn't come. But if a person goes there and comes to the booth and abstains, says, I'm abstaining from voting, I don't believe in any of you, then that would show a disagreement to all three parties, that we think that you people who want to get voted into government do not really care. It would be a good idea. I think they should try it out.
What would it achieve?
It would show how many people really do not have trust in any of the governments, not in the Labour, not in the Liberals, and not in Conservatives, and of course not in the other small parties. It would show. I've got up and gone there and not voted.
So what would be the alternative?
Then maybe somebody would get up and afterwards somebody would come up and say, yes, all right, all those people in Lobson, I'm fighting for things which you need. Old age people, old age homes,
enough staff.
Enough staff, nurses. I'm fighting for all those people who are downtrodden.
We're helpless.
Of course. Look, you know something which is very interesting? I just want to show how the government cheats people. Do you know, at the end of this year, 1999, they're going to phase out 4-star petrol. But if a program like Watchdog would have come on television, or one of the other programs which were, I think, wouldn't have said that, you know, nobody would have known about it. And people, there's still 5 million people.
So what are you going to do about it?
No, but there's 5 million people running around with cars who need 4-star petrol. But the government doesn't tell you. They do things without asking the people. They just phase out.
But that's what the banks do as well, don't they?
What do you mean the banks do as well?
They make new accounts that gives more interest. They don't notify the customers about it.
That the other can know. That the other. Then they lower the rate of interest on the other account.
Yeah.
They're all cheating.
They don't tell you.
Oh, I call this white-collar cheating.
Well, that's how it is. What can you do?
Well, how are we going to, the question that we have to tell people and talk about is, how are we thinking of changing things? Do you think by informing people?
Protest!
No, protest nothing. Informing. Informing, maybe.
And then everybody said, well, what can I do about it?
Well, that's the mistake. That is the mistake. If everybody puts his hand up, oh, can I do it? Of course you get nothing done. Everybody would say, yes, I'm going to come along and say my point of view.
But you live in a world of thinking, I'm going to change the world.
No, I'm not going to change. I might not change it. The world might change long after I've gone. But maybe I'll make people think with what I'm saying. Isn't that worth it? Sometimes you have to protest by saying, I know I won't change anything, but I'll make people think. Don't you think that's important to say that sometimes?
Yes, that's
If we make people think, at least we made them think.
Yeah.
And in today's communication, where there's internet and all these things, you can get your information passed over so fast and so quickly that you can stop the world people of the world being cheated.
Yes. Pure rubbish.
That's exactly the way the world thinks. Everybody thinks I can't achieve anything and makes a joke out of it and laughs, and then afterwards, when they get older, they don't really care, because when they're young they're not suffering so much, and when they get older they see the old age pensioners are suffering, they suffer, and then it's too late to argue and do things about it. It's when you're young you've got to think about the old age pensioners and start thinking, well look, when they get older you've got to care. We don't think we're going to get old.
In which respect do you want to care about the old age pensioners?
You care about old age pensioners if they don't get enough food and they're not taken care of, and they've got nerves. You know that lots of
hospitals. You don't get enough time.
I know somebody who was in hospital, and the father was suffering from Parkinson's disease, and the nurse gave a double dose to this person to relax him more, and she said, so the son, the child said, you know, it's
let me tell you one thing. People who have got Parkinson's are over-relaxed. Most of the time.
Well, this is what happened. This is the story he told me, that he was given something to relax the person more, and so he said, but it's dangerous. It's not healthy to give it more than is needed. So she says, well, look, it might damage his life, but he hasn't got much quality of life anyway, and it might damage him. They don't really care.
I mean, now you're talking about the nursing.
Yes. I'm going to ask you a question. This is not against the royal family or what. Do you think, had the Queen Mother not been the Queen Mother, she would have had a hip replacement at her age, and the care of health which she gets is not over the standard? Would you think every normal human being, every old age pensioner gets the same standard of health as she does?
No, definitely not.
No, definitely not.
Definitely
do you think that's right? Do you think that's right?
Because she's in the limelight. She is the Queen Mother. Listen, they want to make themselves a good name.
So you're agreeing that a person who is in the limelight, who is rich and money, should be entitled to be
better treatment.
Is that right?
Definitely not.
And it's not communism.
But there is not enough nursing staff. And you can't just pull open a tin with nursing staff.
But this is what I've said. There is enough money for wars. Why is there enough money for wars and everything else, and there's not enough money for treating people as human beings? Why should we not be important?
Listen, if there are not enough nurses, then what are you going to do about it?
There's not enough nurses.
Pay the nurses.
Because they don't pay them enough. How is there enough money for a dome of 750 million and there's not enough money for nurses? No, not only the dome. Let's say for war. How is there enough money for planes? You know what these planes cost? You know what the aircraft carrier costs? Thousands and millions, millions, nearly £1,000 million on an aircraft carrier. More. Do you know one of these planes costs $21 million? Even more, I don't know, I must look up the book to tell you exactly the prices. These prices are fantastic prices. Every bullet and every missile costs a fortune. And there's money for that. Why isn't there money for the care of the individual human being?
Nursing, carers.
Why? Why do we say, oh, you've had a good innings, goodbye, Charlie? And
because there is not enough.
So it's not right that there are people who are being cared of better than other people who are not being cared of worse.
The answer is always the same.
It's most people are really...
Money.
Right. Most people want to cheat themselves and want to say that everybody is treated equal, but we are not.